Hey, what's up? Derek Kirk of Effectatron here, and today we've kind of got an interesting one. The people over at Creality have been nice enough to sponsor this video, and basically they've provided me with the ScanFerretPro 3D scanner. Creality is a leading global consumer-level 3D printing brand focused on 3D printer research and production. The self-developed and manufactured FDM and Resin 3D printers are pioneering in the 3D printing market. So Creality has been committed to providing users with a one-stop 3D printing experience. The 3D scanner aids in modeling while a 3D printer produces the models. Obviously, consumers have a wide range of accessories that are available to provide them with optimized, convenient, and efficient 3D printing. So I'm going to be straight up honest with you. When I watched this trailer, when they're like, hey, we want to send you this product, I looked at this and I was like, there's no way that it works that well, that this guy can just wave this around in front of it and it actually work. It did. It actually works that well. I was floored by how well it looks. So let's go ahead and see just what I made with this. And honestly, I can't stress enough how easy it was to use and how well it actually worked. Now, the reason I'm interested in this, normally I'm not really into 3D scanning because I don't have a 3D printer or anything, but this actually works great with 3D printers. I don't want to set up a bunch of lights in a studio. I don't really have that space, or I don't want to buy all the equipment it needs and take all the time to take all of those photos and stuff to actually build it all and create a 3D object. So when I saw this and I saw, okay, so they literally sent me this, which is like the joystick, a Wi-Fi hotspot thing, and the actual scanner right here. And all you got to do is you can put your phone in here if you want, and you don't have to hook it up to anything. You just download the app, you point this at the object for a while. You don't have to do anything. It's like shake resistant and stuff. And it's really easy to just scan. So I thought, okay, well, what can I scan? I did my shoe and I did Cinnabon. Apparently you could do people and faces. I want to continue to do more of this. So we might do more, but I want to hear, before we get super into it, that the things I wanted to go over in this video and what I wanted to look at with this product was, how idiot proof is it? Can I just pick it up, start scanning stuff without reading a bunch of manuals or watching a bunch of tutorials and actually have it work? How easy is it to take it from the app to C4D, actually get a good looking render out? And can I do it with as little setup as possible? Because one, I'm lazy, and two, I just want to be able, if it's going to be consumer grade, like that, entry level scanning, because this only costs $430, which is pretty expensive, but if you're going to be into scanning things, that's a pretty good entry point, especially if you're into 3D printing and stuff like that. This is probably a great tool because it's handheld. It goes anywhere. You just need a phone. Android is what I used. I think it works with the iOS as well. But basically, it can work outside. It can work inside with lights and everything, but it's really super simple. And that's what I wanted to know is, if I'm not super into scanning, can I, is the learning curve of this easy enough that I can just pick it up within a few trial and error attempts, have a pretty good looking result? Obviously, the more you use something, the more better you're going to get. The more tutorials you watch, the better. But I wanted to know, can I just grab this and make something cool out of it? And so I did. Super easy to use. Basically, let's take a look at it. I mean, you can see my setup here, right, in the background. We'll take a closer look at it, but this is it. Right, real high-tech stuff, okay? I really splurged on this. I put, this is like a Lazy Susan from Amazon. It was underneath our sink. I think it's like $12. Medicine cup from whatever kind of medicine you want. And then the cinnamon roll, because Sister Schubert cinnamon rolls are the best. I wish they would sponsor me. But yeah, that's it. And then a light. I have a $30 ring light that I put on it. And I just held my little thing like this. I did this. I just kind of held it. And just kind of spun this around. And just kind of wiggled this around a little bit. And that was it. That's literally the process. And so for me, that's a big pro right there. That I don't have to set everything, do everything. Now that I don't have to do everything and set everything up, obviously, you know, if you really want to get into very specific, like scanning things, making it look just right, super realistic, you want like polarized lights and stuff so you have no reflections and things. But I just wanted to know, can I make game assets basically, or just assets to put in the background or filler objects of stuff? If a client sends me something, could I scan it and have like a good rough model of something like that? Or can I just, rather than spending $5 or $10, whatever, to buy a cinnamon roll online somewhere or a subscription to get access to that, can I just buy a cinnamon roll that I can eat and scan it? Both, right? Win-win. Have my cake and scan it and eat it too. Right? Pretty cool. So that's what I wanted to know when I came into it. Basically, how well did it work? And honestly, super well. We'll take a look at some of the setup and stuff we did for it. But basically, let's go ahead and talk about bringing this in and getting it going. So real quick, the way this works is it has a button. You turn it on, and it basically turns on this Wi-Fi thing and then you connect your phone to the Wi-Fi, and we'll go ahead and do that and take a look at that. So you pull up the Wi-Fi and connect to that. It's got no internet. That's totally fine. We go into the Create the app, and here we are. This is our projects are in here. Okay, so what we have here is we have the option down here to do a small object, a medium object, a face, a body, geometry, texture, markers, fast, high quality. Let's do a fast face real quick, and we'll just see. I'll show you what it looks like. So you say new scan, and you can see there's me, and I just move it towards me, and there I am. Wow, what a cool dude. There I am. Good, move closer, and it tells you I have to stay still. Yep, there's me. Let's colorize me. Let's take a look. There I am. You know, it probably didn't help that I moved around and stuff while I was scanning, but, you know, for a super fast scan, that's pretty crazy. There you go. Obviously, I didn't light myself or anything, but yeah, I think you could actually get some pretty cool results like that. I'm impressed. Yeah, super easy to use, very fast. You know, pretty awesome, very simple. And so now I can come in here. Yeah, no, it's good. So basically, you download the app for free, and I think that's the biggest part of this that I like is that it's a one-time buy-in. Like, you buy the scanner, and that's it. You don't have to pay for it to become an image or anything. The software is free. Everything except the actual hardware is free. So that, to me, is a big plus. There are other things out there that do it a little differently, but to me, I like knowing that, okay, I'm going to buy this, and then that's all I need to buy. All right, so when you open up the program Creality Scan, it tells you some good tips and stuff and how to do things. You can even do things with markers that are reflective surfaces and things like that. You can actually hook it up straight into your computer and scan straight like that. But to me, the biggest selling point with this was the fact that I can just walk around with it and scan something. So let's go ahead and scan, and then all you got to do is, we can say scan buttons, is you say import from phone, and your phone pops up. So on the phone app, all you have to do is, once you have it recorded and scanned, it gives you the option of shows your model there, and there's a little share icon, the like SHAER, not like if I could turn back time. That's a stupid joke. Okay, but you can say share project, and it gives you the option to scan the QR code that you see on the screen. You hold your phone up to it, and voila, it starts exporting the project. And now we just wait until that exports. That's it. You just have to make sure that you're on the same network, which, if you're at home or work, wherever, your phone's probably going to be on the same Wi-Fi as your computer. It's totally fine. Receiving project, boom, it's going to come in. And voila. We also have the option, if you want to, you can actually just zip it up and like email or, you know, Google Drive the project or whatever, the actual model and stuff. So you don't have to have the app and stuff if you don't want to, but it is nice to have the app, because if you don't have the option to clean it up and stuff on your phone, which you do, you can bring in the raw project, which is like before it's optimized and stuff. And basically, I mean, look at that. That's like straight out of the machine, straight out of the phone. Pretty cool, right? Like I did with one light, like obviously the lighting is pretty rough. Just rotating it around on a lazy Susan, that's pretty good. You can click one-click process, which if you were to do it on the phone, it actually, you know, like, because I don't have a flat surface, it actually does a really good job of like removing flat surfaces. So it actually didn't record any of the tray, but because I have a lip on the tray, it did record that lip. So I just used my finger and just kind of drew on it real quick on the phone, and that erased it. Super easy. And so then it optimizes it, fills the holes, and textures it. So it does all the color, everything for you. And so then you're just ready to go. So then you just say export, boop, and you export that out as an OBJ if you want, right? So we've done that. And so now let's go ahead and just open it up in C4D. Voila. It doesn't look like that yet. We have to make it look like that. So right off the rip, it looks like this. Not as appetizing, right? So basically, but it brings in a redshift material, which is nice. It brings in the texture map that is colored, plugged in, everything is good to go. The actual model, I know a lot of you probably want to see, well, what's the detail look like? The lines, it is dense, right? This is a very, very high poly model. And the reason it is because I chose, you have different options when you go to record. You can do texture, you can do fast, you can do high quality, and you can do different sizes. So when you choose small, which is anything under 15 centimeters, which this Cinnabon was, you have to do high quality. When you do something larger, you can do fast. So it'll be like less polygons and more just like a rough, quick scan of something, right? Which is pretty cool. So we have this really, really detailed thing, which is nice. If we want, we could throw this in a subdivision surface probably and actually get it looking really even nicer. But there are ways to also, you know, turn to basically take something that's this high poly and turn it back into something that's lower poly, but keep the textures, such as like putting an object around it and then baking the texture and stuff like that with the reflection, all that stuff. But yeah, that's not bad. So let's go ahead and let's uncheck that. We'll grab this, and the first thing we're going to do is just add a smoother modifier to it. I think that's going to be good. We'll hold shift and apply that, and we'll just see what that does first. Because with this off, you know, we have some like jagged bits, but with it on, we get just kind of a smoother result. And honestly, that looks pretty good. So now we can kind of, you know, maybe turn the strength of that down to like maybe 65%. There we go. So we still have some nice texture and bump, but yeah, not bad. So we're going to Control C that, bring it into our scene with lights, paste that in here. We'll hide this other bun. Okay. And Control paste. There we go. So we've got our bun here. Let's put it on our plate. Boom. Our bun is huge. We need to come in here probably just to set up my scene, but we're going to say 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1 just to scale it down, and we'll bring it back over here. Now, obviously, the center point of this is pretty good. It's not too far off, and you can mess with that if you want. It's not too shabby. So we're going to bring it down and pull it over, placement tool, plop it on the plate. There we go. All right, let's take our camera and turn off our bokeh real quick. That's not it. This is it. There we go. So now we have this on a plate. We have like this weird, our cup that we scanned underneath it, obviously, just to get as much of that bottom as we could. So we're going to isolate this here by clicking this little eyeball button. We're going to turn off the render view for now, and we're going to go into the side view like so, and call the front view, and we just want to make it as level as possible and line it up. Because what we're going to do is go into the polygon mode, go into our selection tool, make sure visible only is off, and we're going to get right here and go whoosh, and hit UI, 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 which is going to grow our selection. and we're just going to grow it until we start getting into the bottom of it, and we're just going to hit delete. There we go. So now we've removed that cup. No problem. Nice. All right, cool. So now we can go back into our object. Let's grab our pivot point here and just kind of set it kind of like right here in the middle. We'll go to another top view, slide it down a bit, top view, put it in the middle of our object, because right now, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, cool. So that's good. Now we can get rid of our working axis and turn off the eyeball, and we should be able to place this on our plate pretty easy now. Boop, like so. Okay. So now we should be looking a little better, right? Because there's no like random cup sticking out the bottom. So how do we create, you know, that little extra bit of detail that's going to look good? But you can tell, you know, it actually did get the depth of this, like the actual icing looks elevated on the surface. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Not too shabby. So let's just clean this up and make it look a little bit better by improving the texture maps. So let's do this a couple ways. We can come in here and we can like build ramps and stuff and create a bump map and stuff out of the color information here if you don't have a third-party program like Photoshop or something. But let's go ahead and let's try that, right? Because let's say we don't want to invest in a bunch of other stuff and we just want to know, can we do it inside of Redshift? Let's see. So we'll say a ramp. And the reason we're going to use ramp is because we can make it grayscale. And grayscale will let us give it a little bit of bump. Alt input, isolate that, and plug this into a bump map. Okay, like so, boop and boop. And we want to make sure that's set to height field. All right, so if we're looking at this with this isolated, we're going to see that we're going to get everything that's white is going to be lifted up and everything that's black is not going to be lifted up. We actually can tell it to suck it down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to say a new range of -0.5 and a new range max of 0.5. And this is going to tell the blacks to come down a little bit and the whites to go up a little bit. But it's going to keep that ratio of distance there by making it, you know, just one distance apart. So that's not bad. We also can clamp this down so we get a little bit more of each, like so. Yeah, so it's a little more detailed. Okay, and then if we unsolo that, we should get the effect of that coming in. Just adds a little bit more detail to that, you know, very flattish mesh. Not too bad. And obviously bump map is very dependent on the reflections, which is something we need to work on next. So again, we're going to copy this ramp and we're going to use the same color information because that's all we have to build the reflection. So we're going to isolate that, plug this into the roughness. Now for the roughness, we want kind of the opposite. We want our icing to be more black and our bun to be more white, because white is going to mean matte and black is going to mean shiny. So we're just going to swap these around just like that and keep it kind of tighter. And there we go. So we should be able to, you know, clamp this down, and we don't want to be like totally shiny. I've got it backwards, right? No, I had it right. There we go. Okay, we're going to clamp it up. We just want that icing. There we go. So we're going to pull this up a little bit more, pull this back. There we go. That looks like the icing on there. And so what we want to do is, so here's the thing, right? This is backwards, isn't it? I get confused. We want the icing to be dark, which is what I said, right? Yeah, and that's not what I did. Okay, so yeah, pull this white up and pull this dark up. Like so. Okay, there we go. Now we want this to be more like 30% because we don't want it to be like pure shine. We want it to be like a matte shine. And then we want all of the actual like bun itself to be very matte, right? Because we don't want it to shine much at all. So this, we could probably space it out a little bit more to get a little more gradient ramp. Yes, there's a little more detail. This should work. Let's see. This will be the roughness. So we should get some shine on the icing and not much shine at all on the bun, which is what we want. But we want a little bit. So we're going to grab this and lower it down to like 75%. Just going to give it a little bit of shine because it does have a little bit. Okay? Not bad. So we have a little bit more detail and shine built into our icing, which gives it a little bit more. I think our bump is just a little too high. We're going to take it down to like 0.2, and we want it to be subtle. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, you can try and make sure, just crank it up to 3 if you're like, well, maybe the bumps, I need more bump. But yeah, more bump makes it too funky, so we're going to take it down. 0.2. That looks pretty good. So that's, you know, without doing much. Like, we just used 2 ramps and controlled it, and it's really not bad. How's it look? Decent. Yeah. Sticking into my plate placement tool. There we go. Rotate it around. Obviously go into the side view here and actually figure out the right way. There we go. And then pull it back and zoom in on here. Make sure it's rotated the right way this way. Not too bad. Yeah, we could probably pull it down just a smidge. But yeah, that's not too shabby. Especially for something that we really, you know, scanned and made in 20 minutes. It's pretty good. It's like a game asset or something, I would say. I wouldn't put it front and center in your scene. It's a very organic and, you know, kind of detailed shape, but not too shabby. So alternatively, if you wanted to do it inside of, I could try turn smoothing off, see if that helps, but no, I think it's good. I think all really what you need to do now is you just turn that bokeh back on. Turn that bokeh on. You get that depth of field to hide those imperfections, and you focus on pieces that look good. Now, you know, not too bad. Looks pretty good. Okay, so if you wanted to use Photoshop, what we would do is we'd open up Photoshop, we would grab our scan texture that we have, bring it into Photoshop, and then we would simply go to Filter, 3D, and then Generate Bump, which is going to get you a height map. You can use this for whatever you want. It can be displacement or it can be bump. It's going to be grayscale. We've upped the detail of it. It's fine. Cool. It just makes a nice blurry grayscale image, which gives us a little nicer results than just straight transitioning it into a gray image. So we'll export this, and then if you wanted to, you could come in here and go to Filter, 3D, and Normal Map. So it's going to create a normal map for you. The difference between a grayscale bump map and a normal map is the different colors here represent different directions. So rather than just up and down, it goes left, right, front, center, back, whatever, you understand. So you get extra detail out of it. And it's just going to kind of guess what's going on, but it does a pretty good job. So we say, okay. And once again, we just go to File and we go to Export Quick PNG. Again, we want to do as little work as possible for this. So we'll say Normal Map. Okay, so then what we do, let's compare these materials. We'll make a copy of it, throw it on here, duplicate that, and get rid of these. And what we're going to do is use those new materials that we made, texture maps we made, gray and normal, bring those in. And there we go. Normal map goes into the bump map. Bump map gets changed to tangent space normal. And we'll see right off the bat, it should look a little cleaner. We can turn off our bokeh again so we can see that. But yeah, I think that's just going to make that normal map look a little bit better. And again, you can crank it up and see if it makes a big difference. But I think a lower map value is pretty good. See, it's giving us weird little edges here, which I don't love. So we can take that back down to 0.2. There we go. Now it's not visible really. Subtle. And then we could try the grayscale bump map if we want to try that instead of the normal map, which is this one. Still little pieces and stuff when we blurred the edges, so not ideal. Probably user error on my part, but we could try that. Plug this in and this goes back to height field. And there we go. Also looks good. That looks pretty good. I think I like that better. It does give us those weird little lines, and that looks good. We can probably just use a ramp with this gray blurred material and make that our, whatever you call it, highlights. Invert that, so our icing is going to be the black. Pull it down, pull it down. There we go. And make this like 70%. Okay. And we'll make this like 10%. And plug that into the reflection roughness. Boom, boom. Not bad. So there's another way to bring that in and get the textures looking right. Obviously, I would mess with the detail and stuff. I think I had my detail cranked up too high, which is what caused those hard edges. So coating layer and stuff like that. But I wanted to know, can I just hop in here, do something really quick, and get her done, you know? But yeah, that looks pretty good. So, review of the scanner. Easy to use? Yes, 100%. Very little setup required to get started. Yes, low entry cost. $400 is low relatively, like compared to a DSLR or stuff like that you would need to do photogrammetry. So yes. Is it worth it if you want to scan things, especially if you have a 3D printer and you want to scan like models of like Warhammer models or something like that, or D&D characters or something? Probably, yeah. I need to do more testing. Is it user-friendly? Absolutely. Super easy. I honestly didn't watch a tutorial. I just started using it. I was like, okay, the few little guys they had were enough. And that's huge to me. I think the learning curve of it, entry level, perfect, right where it needs to be. Obviously, you can get better and better and better. But if 3D scanning is something you're really interested in, but you don't want to invest in a DSLR and a studio and all that stuff, there you go. Also, you can go scan larger things like statues, stuff like that. So, cool. Obviously, it has its limitations. It's not Gaussian splatting or anything like that. But overall, I'm quite pleased with it, and I'll probably continue to scan more things. I want to know what else you guys want me to scan. It does do faces and bodies. I'll do my face. Why is that felt weird? I don't know, but I'll scan more things if you guys are interested in it. Let me know what you want to see scanned. I'll show you. This is my shoe that I scanned as well. This is one of my first attempts. But yes, overall, I think the product's pretty awesome. There's a link to it in the description below. Go check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.